Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, an RTD train runs off the tracks, and this is not the first time. So this morning, is this derailment part of a bigger problem?
Classes are back on today at Adams City High School after a bomb threat Tuesday canceled school. This hour, we'll look at the punishment that could be coming for those responsible for making a fake threat.
Homeless advocates are coming out against Denver over encampment sweeps, why they say the city is breaking the law.
And you can feel the change in the air. It is officially fall today. The celebrations happening across the state as we welcome autumn with the colors, of course, and some cooler weather today.
Right, an extra layer that you might need today. But we want to start this morning with some breaking news and a major mess on the morning commute.
Yeah, let's get right out to Jason Luber. We've got a big problem on I-25 right now.
Yeah, both directions closed down right now up here on the north side of town. It's between 84th Avenue and the Thornton Parkway. What happened early this morning, we have a truck that was carrying some kind of fluid that's flipped over and then spilled that fluid on the northbound side of I-25. So that containment is happening now, but it also appears, as you take a look at the CDOT camera up that way, that there had to be some kind of a problem where maybe they hit the bridge or they were worried about the structural integrity of the bridge, because 84th Avenue is closed over top of I-25 and the southbound side of I-25 is closed. With the crash on the northbound side, southbound should be open where we would see most of the traffic, but northbound is closed down as well, and only traffic can go to the east. So as you take a look at the map with the drive around it, you're going to have to use either Grant Street, Washington Street gets you to the Thornton Parkway and back. Southbound, you can use Huron to come down to 84th Avenue. Pecos will get you down to Highway 36. So there are ways around it. It's just obviously going to be a huge mess. And then we have the other huge mess over here to the east side of town. Veronica Acosta will be along in just a minute, but we do have some roads closed, Lisa, around Abilene and Exposition for that train derailment that happened yesterday.
And the roads are wet out there now too after some overnight rainfall. We're still seeing some light rain in spots, and you're going to find areas of fog early this morning. It's a cooler start to the day too. Mid to upper 40s right now. Winds are coming in at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and still some wet conditions. As you're getting out the door this morning, expect to see some low 50s here through early morning. We'll get to near 55 degrees by 10 o'clock, and then highs will be in the mid to upper 60s. Skies are going to clear out. Later today, we'll see some sunshine. It should be a beautiful end to the day, and that'll help to warm things up a little bit later on. In the mountains, you'll find some upper 50s to low 60s. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at this wet weather, how it moves out, and just how much prettier it gets again, you guys, for the weekend.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Well, also breaking this morning, the light rail train that derailed yesterday is still off the tracks and blocking traffic in Aurora.
Several people were injured in this, and it happened in an area where a train derailed in the past. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta looked into this with our producers. A lot going on here, some promises made back then, and they didn't seem to help yesterday, Veronica.
The train derailment, it happened hours ago, you guys, but you can see still behind me, a portion of that is still out here on Exposition in Sable. There are more than a dozen crew members. You see them there working hard to try and get it off those rails and move it on out of here. As Jason has mentioned all morning long, those closures still very much in place. There is no train running through this area, just to let you know. And here's the thing, this isn't the first time this has happened. Like you guys mentioned, it happened 3 years ago, back in 2019, right at the same spot. And back then, RTD promised to develop better ways to track operators, give more training on how to handle bad weather, and post some speed signs as well. Despite all of that, this ended up happening again yesterday. Firefighters, paramedics, even members of Aurora's fire rescue technical team, they were all called out to help. As you can imagine, it was a Tuesday. There was a good amount of people on the train, about 24 of them. 3 actually ended up having to go to the hospital. They didn't have any major injuries, but that wasn't the case back in 2019, the first time this happened. At that time, there was a woman who actually had her foot severed. 5 other people had to go to the hospital that day as well. They were injured. Now, at that time, RTD said the blizzard-like conditions, speed, and operator error most likely caused the crash. This morning, we're still very much waiting to hear what the reason for yesterday's derailment was. I have reached out to RTD as well to learn what they're doing in terms of the R line, whether they're going to be offering some alternative way to get around, whether this is going to be up and running at any point this morning. So of course, we're going to let you know as soon as I hear back. We'll get all of that info to you as soon as we can. We're live in Aurora this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Yeah, some major road impacts though this morning. Thank you, Veronica. The city of Aurora has narrowed its list of police chief candidates down to two. They are Scott Ebner, who is currently Deputy Superintendent of Administration for the New Jersey State Police, and David Franklin with the Albuquerque Police Department. A third finalist withdrew his name late yesterday. Next week, Ebner and Franklin will begin a three-day series of interviews with police, city leaders, and Aurora residents.
Advocates for the homeless are taking aim at Denver city leaders for allowing the unhoused to be harassed, bullied, and even assaulted. Lawyers sent a letter to the mayor and city council this week alleging that dozens of instances where Denver leaders were in violation of a legal agreement for failing to let the unhoused know that they would sweep their camps.
These things are, they're not just illegal, but they're intolerable in a humane society. So based on that and this escalation of, based on the escalation of the tactics by the city, it was time to say enough is enough.
And that same attorney says Denver will face another lawsuit if things don't change. Mayor Hancock released a statement saying he expects all city employees to treat everyone with respect and is confident that city employees and city contractors do just that.
Vehicle thefts here in Colorado keep going up. We told you earlier this month Denver's airport had the highest motor vehicle theft rate in the entire state. The National Insurance Crime Bureau says car thefts in Colorado overall went up more than 32% last year compared to 2020, giving us the worst theft rate of any state in the country. Catalytic converter thefts and carjackings are also on the rise. So they offer some tips to protect yourself. We all know, of course, to roll up the windows and lock the doors, but a couple other things to consider. Take your garage door opener in with you when you leave your vehicle, so that way if someone gets your car, they can't get into your house. Also, check the vehicle registration paperwork in the glove box. There are two copies. One has your address, the other does not. Keep the one without your address in the car. Again, that is so if a thief gets your car, they don't have your address. For more context here, we looked at which vehicles are targeted the most. In Colorado, the top two are full-size pickup trucks, Fords and Chevys specifically. You can see here on that list, GMC and Dodge pickups are also in the top 10. But the third and fourth most commonly stolen cars are the Honda Civic, the Honda Accord, followed by the Kia Optima there. Thieves aren't even targeting new vehicles. They are typically going after models that are at least 5 years old.
Well, times are tough business-wise right now, and Centura Health has let go about 350 employees. That's about 1% of its employees in both Colorado and Kansas. Most of the affected employees did not care for patients directly. Some will be able to transition to other positions. Others will receive severance pay and help finding a new job. In a statement, Centura says inflation and the possibility of a recession were factors. Well, one good thing that has come out of the pandemic is that more medical offices are offering telemedicine, and a new study shows they're pretty accurate. They looked at about 2,400 people who did a telemedicine consultation, followed by an in-person visit for the same problem within 90 days. The diagnosis in the video visit matched the in-person diagnosis 87% of the time. One local doctor told us 25 to 30% of his schedule is now video visits. Dr. Joy says it's also good for patients with the COVID-19 virus or the flu because they're not infecting others in a waiting room. But he says telemedicine is not as great for acute visits like abdominal pain or ear pain because doctors do need to see you for an exam.
Well, today, as we mentioned, is the first day of fall. My favorite season.
Yeah,
hands
it's
down.
beautiful.
Love
yeah.
it. The cooler weather, of course, is great. The colors. Now, of course, for some of you, summer's ending. That may bum you out, but some communities celebrate this equinox as a special time. At Chimney Rock in southeastern Colorado, a special sunrise tour started at it will start actually at 5:15 this morning. It was a chance for visitors to experience sunrise from the Chaco and Great House and learn why these events are important to their ancestors. In southwestern Colorado, there's a unique phenomenon in Picture Canyon. As the sun rises over the canyon, it shines into Crack Cave, lighting up ancient markings. The marks only light up on the equinox.
Well, that's cool.
So pretty good reason to visit there.
Also, with the start of fall, we've been seeing reports on our Denver 7 social media pages that the aspens are changing colors. Look at these beautiful golden colors behind us. And this should be a great weekend to get up to the high country to enjoy the fall colors. We've been combing through our Discover Colorado Through Your Photos Facebook page. The views are stunning out there. We spoke with a representative from the Forest Service. She says that the rain overnight will not impact the leaves too much, so don't worry about them being knocked down.
The trees will appreciate the rains, the roots will appreciate the rains, our waterways will, but the trees have already put all their energy into the leaves in the spring and in the summer. At this point, they're just pulling all the goods out of the leaves, recycling them, so next spring they can put some more leaves on.
Yeah, so this is actually what we want. Our digital team has put together a complete in-depth look at the changing leaves out there, and they include the best hikes and drives and even train rides to see them. You can find that on Denver7.com.
I always notice my leaves all fall off at once at some point. They like change colors and then fall off at the tree in front of my house.
And then your husband has to rake them. Yeah.
So.
Well, and yet we hope that we don't get the wind storms that roll through to knock it all off in a hurry. Right now, though, you're right, still seeing some rain up and through the mountains, and we'll see some scattered showers throughout the day today. Skies are going to clear out, though, tonight. We're actually going to see some sunshine by this afternoon, and we're in for a really pretty weekend. Whether you're staying here in town or you are heading west, I'll show you just how much warmer it's going to get Friday through Sunday.
And we do have some foggy skies to deal with, especially over Monument Hill, where it's limiting the visibility for us down that way. This is the I-25 drive up north, northbound I-25, southbound 84th Avenue Bridge, all closed down right now. The northbound side is going to be staying closed longer than the southbound side. I'm hoping the southbound side will stay open or get open here fairly quickly. They've said that the bridge integrity is okay, so there's nothing wrong with the bridge, so they should be able to open the bridge in southbound, hopefully in just a little bit.
Anchors away, my boys, anchors away, anchors away.
Yes, it's anchors away for the U.S. Navy. In fact, every military branch has their official song. Well, wait till you hear the new Space Force anthem.